Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we are playing Madam Mim to the max, making use of bouncing shenanigans left, right, and center, and getting some extra value out of our other characters. So, what's going to be the signature spell? Well, it's going to be bounce, because we're bouncing stuff around. Bounce over here returns a character of yours to your hand and another character to its owner's hand. Typically it's a removal and value type of card. At least that's how we're hoping to play it. Since it's a Madam Mim deck, we are much obliged to add 4 Madam Mim snakes. The cheapest bounce spell type character that we have, that's Madam Mim, and also has decent stats. Madam Mim Fox, which is essentially an inkable Rafiki that bounces stuff. Perfect for this deck. Alright, what else bounces stuff? Well, we have our good friend Merlin, the Wizard's Apprentice. We'll only be playing him in 2 copy. There has to be mindful of our number of uninkable. We're going to get into that a little later. And in terms of things that we do want to bounce in our hand, that's where things get a bit, well, normal. Things get interesting a little later. So we have Merlin Goat gains the lore whenever you play it, whenever you bounce it. Merlin Rabbit draws a card whenever you play it, whenever he gets into Leaves play. Simple. So you get 2 cards out of Merlin Rabbit, you get 2 lore out of Merlin Goat, and they're still fine characters. Now another character that gives us some value is Miss Maleficent, the Sorceress. As she enters play, you draw a card. A bit of a weaker version of the Merlin Rabbit, but she is inkable. So far we have 4 bounce, 4 card draw lore value characters. Just very simple. Pile A and pile B. Since we're going to be going after the Madam Mims, we might as well add the big Madam Mim. She's not the greatest card in the world, but she looks awesome. And she double bounces. So she bounces 2 of your own characters, and then you get an undercosted 5/7 quest for 4 evasive character, which is pretty solid. Basically, she's stronger than the Brave Little Tailor that we have in Ruby, and she costs less. So it's a nice upside. But if we want to play the Madam Mim Dragon, it means we need to have very, very cheap characters to bounce into our hand. All of that value stuff that we've been playing is for cheaper Madam Mims to bounce back. We need 1-drops. And we need 1-drops that are going to survive, because our main purpose is just to bounce them back. So we're going to be including Flynn Rider, Confident Vagabond, as well as Olaf, simply because they have higher willpower than the other characters. You can also pick off opponents' Maleficents or Pinocchio and live quite handsomely. Speaking of which, we'll be playing 4 copies of Maleficent, because while she doesn't provide value when she gets bounced, bouncing an exerted Maleficent protects her, as we've seen in a lot of the heavy aggro decks that are plaguing the metagame right now. For the same reason, we'll be adding a pair of Pinocchio the 3-quester. The main goal of our deck is not to just fast quest to victory. We're going to be more of a mid-range card advantage style deck. So I'm keeping the Pinocchios to 2 just to keep the uninkable count in check. Same reason for the Merlins. Because if you start playing the full play set, you don't have much space for stuff like the Merlin Rabbits. Or you're really committing to playing all of those. Which brings us to 44 cards. Alright. So you have a bunch of cheap characters, a bunch of value characters, and a ton of bounce. Well, there's one more Madam Mim that deserves to be looked at. And that is the 5-drop Min, Rival of Merlin. So, you can activate her ability Gruesome and Grim by exerting her, and play a 4-drop character for free. They gain Rush, but they're banished at the end of the turn. She combos well with having value cards and having bounce cards, because Madam Mim gets free, value, bounce. And that's kind of the combo with the Rival of Merlin. So if you can play ideally the Merlin Rabbit, then you draw 2 cards just off of her ability alone. And if you can play another Madam Mim that has a bouncing effect, you can recuperate that Merlin before he gets banished. And basically, Madam Mim, rival of Merlin, just gives you 4 ink for free, which is pretty strong. Then we have the same effect in the form of a song, and songs are pretty good in general, so we're going to be including it. Also, the artwork's really cool on that card. Gruesome and Grim. Won't be playing 3 copies of it because it's an inkable. Same thing, get value out of these 4-drop Merlins, or Maleficent if you're in a tight spot, but we really want to drop the Goat or the Merlin Rabbit off of Gruesome and Grim and the 5-drop Merlin to get extra value. And now we have this very consistent list with 2 kind of 3 piles. We have the free ink, essentially put this character in play for free. We have the bounce spells and we have the value spells. And now we just need to complete our list. While we're playing a lot of 1-drops, we're light on removal, and we're really looking for inkable cards. So Isma, Scary Beyond All Reason, feels like a good solution for everything. You have a 1-drop and nothing to do, eat it. Your opponent has a big threat, eat it. I'm not sure it counts as eating, but when Isma looks like that, I mean, destroy it, banish it. You're giving the opponent 2 cards, but that's okay. If none of these situations apply, well, ink her. That's one of the reasons why she's in the deck. Also, since we're playing a lot of value cards, I like playing a pair of Fairy Godmothers. She's just very good at getting these value cards back into your hand and getting them a lot of challenging power. Just a strong card overall. That brings us to the final 3 cards, which I almost forgot to include. Friends on the other side. We're a card draw deck, we're playing the Maleficents, we're playing Merlins that don't care about getting banished, so they can sing to their heart's content to draw more cards with Friends on the other side. And there we have it, Madam Mim to the max, bouncing shenanigans galore. The deck list is ready, and all that remains is to bring it in action with some games. We have found an opponent. Merlin, Maleficent, Madam Mim, Merlin, Maleficent, Flynn Rider. Doesn't tell you much because the cards are mostly named the same. I think that's a fairly good hand. We probably don't want 2 rabbits. Have a pair of 1-drops. That seems good. And we find the Purple Dragon. Pretty nice looking card. Kind of scary, kind of funny at the same time. A nice mix. Also find an Isma. Well, let's ink our Flynn and open up with a Maleficent as the opponent opened up with Pascal. So opponent is seemingly going to go for a Madam Mim bounce style of deck. I presume with the Pinocchio and the Maleficent, kind of what we're doing, except we're pushing it to the more mid-rangey form and going after the Purple Dragon, playing more bunnies and the 5-drop Madam Mim. Rival of Merlin. Merlinette, as they call her. Not sure who they is, but there must be someone else in the world who's thought of calling her Merlinette. Opponent finds a second Pascal. What do we want to play on turn 3? We only have Maleficent, then I guess it's go to Rabbit. We probably want the Rabbit in this situation, so we can ink our 4-drop Merlin Goat. Go with Flynn. And I'm okay if the opponent wants to trade. So I'll offer a trade of Maleficent here. We mostly want to slow down our opponents. Get them playing into the mid-game, where we can have our bigger Madam Mims just take over the game. And start bouncing some stuff. Bouncing bunnies. That's what we're into. Opponent goes after an Arthur. Archer, the bouncing aristocrat, wizard's apprentice, just reading books, gaining some lore, and then he turns around and he gets challenged to Oblivion. At least that's what I'm hoping is going to happen to that Merlin, as I do intend to challenge him into Oblivion. Need to ink something. I'd like to keep the dragon, but I don't think I can afford it. I need to ink a high-costed card. Play good old sorceress. Oh, Gruesome and Grim. That's interesting. We don't have anything to balance a character back into our hand. So it's not as useful. Gruesome and Grim allows us to play a character costing 4 less for free. I mean, we can still bring in Merlin, which will net us 2 cards. So I guess Gruesome and Grim plus the Merlin Rabbit would be kind of friends on the other side. Roughly. I mean, it does cost us 2 cards. 2 for 2. You can get a positive combat out of it. Archer decides to bounce back the Goat, which generates a lot of lore, but sacrifices a lot of ink. We can trade with Arthur if we want. I'm quite tempted to go Gruesome and Grim, bring in Merlin Rabbit, and have the Rabbit and Flynn take out Archer. I think that's what we want to do. Song of the Cat Dance. Find an Olaf. I can ink the Olaf. Guess we play Maleficent here. See if we can find something else. Find a rival of Merlin. Alright, so we're gonna take out Arthur. Guess I could have also taken out the Pascal if I would have hardcasted it instead of singing it with Maleficent. Maybe I should have thought this through. Taking out the Pascal was worth quite a bit. Oh well, Merlin goes out. We find another Madam Mim, Merlin's rival. Just like the devious art on that card. Is that a lollipop? I think it's a lollipop of doom. Opponent goes after their own Madam Mim, the Fox. The Rafiki version of Madam Mim. Takes on our Flynn Rider. Found a Fox of our own. Not for this turn. Just because of the way the ink lines up. Oh, we can shift her. I don't have a shift target. But I hadn't noticed that. Alright, 2-5. Let's trade with Madam Mim and quest for 1. Bringing it to 4-8. We have board advantage. We have slide card advantage. We're in an okay spot. And Madam Mim, rival of Merlin, has Gruesome and Grim built in, which is always pretty nice. As we hit a bounce. Now, bouncing the Merlin Rabbit is not exactly what we want to do. On the other hand, we can bounce Maleficent back into our hand. Can bounce Maleficent back into our hand. Gruesome and Grim Maleficent back. Then play Madam Mim back. Now that seems interesting. Alright. Gain 1 lore. Bounce Maleficent. Bounce your Merlin Rabbit. Yes, I know, I'm giving my opponent a card, but denying the ability to Madam Mim again. And that's ability. Bring in Maleficent, draw a card. Then we can Madam Mim, bouncing Maleficent back, protecting her from the negative ability. And I don't think we need another Madam Mim like that. So we're trading tempo a little bit. Merlin goat this time. And fox for opponent as well. Oh, you find a rabbit. That's good. That's really good. Alright, so Madam Mim's going to bring out a Merlin bunny. We draw Gruesome and Grim. We can Madam Mim the bunny back. Draw a card. We can Gruesome and Grim. Singing it. Bringing the bunny back again. Darren back again. Finding another bunny. Trade with Madam Mim. Draw a card. Oh, that Merlin bunny. Whenever it enters or leaves play, draws a card. So good, so good. Now we can ink a card. We don't really need that many more cards. So friends on the other side goes away. And we'll drop a goat. A goat and a lore. This deck's a lot of fun. Maybe it should be titled Bouncing Shenanigans. Still not sure we're going to win, but we're bouncing like crazy. Oh, and we find a dragon. That is nice. I think we want to take out that Arthur. It provides a little bit too much value. So we're going to Isma here. Just hard cast. Goodbye, Arthur. It's time we aim to win the game. Quest, 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 quest. And balls in your court. Isma, scary beyond all reason. Although that's probably the most elegant version of Isma we have. One's going for tons of card draw. And sends over DG, did a good game. Don't have enough to quest for victory. I think we quest with everything. Maybe we can take out the goat. I don't think our opponent has any board wipes available. A bounce. Sure, why not? Just reducing any options of shenanigans our opponent could do. Although I really can't think of any way our opponent could quest for enough off of an empty board. And we'll go with Arthur. Just making sure no shenanigan happens, like a double goat, bunch of questing. Oops. Pay attention, Yoshi. Opponent is playing Ruby, and Ruby has Be Prepared. This is the time at which I facepalm. I really should have been paying more attention. But oh well. We still have a ton of cards. Merlin, Maleficent. Maleficent. Threatening lethal. I don't know why. For some reason I had the opponent on Emerald. Mostly because I'm playing Emerald. I was thinking that the opponent was doing similar things. I can just see the audience screaming as I'm saying, I don't think the opponent has any board wipe. Watch out! The opponent has be prepared! Lady Tremaine. Does the opponent have an extra point of removal? Hopefully not. Bunny? That's looking good. Alright. So I let my guard down because of the early well played. Well, definitely well played, opponent. That was a good game. I misstepped into that be prepared, but other than that, it was a lot of back and forth from cards on the battlefield into our hand, and with the lore and the cards and the game, overall, a great game. Let's see what we get. Friends on the other side, including Madam Mim, Merlin, Gruesome and Grim, Maleficent Flynn, and a bounce. Don't really like the bounce in this hand. The rest seems to go well. Okay, we draw an Olaf. That's fine. Something to ink. And we go first. So now we get to choose whether we want to play the Flynn or the Olaf. Really doesn't matter. Let's go with the Snowman of Doom. As we pass the turn back to our opponent. Just a vanilla 1-3. That's easy to bounce back. Can you be the friendly snowman, your opponent? Opponent inks an Elsa because Elsa doesn't want to fight Olaf. Isma's going to go straight to the ink pile. Unfortunately, we don't have anything on this turn. Guess we can quest. I'm not overly scared of goons here. And the goons do decide to quest right back at us. Alright, so we've seen steal so far from the opponent. Find a Maleficent. Not exactly what I was hoping to find. We're gonna ink our Madam Mim and go Maleficent. Setting up one of our two songs for next turn as we find a bounce. Olaf can keep on doing his thing. Just being happy, gathering some snowballs. Talking about anything except melting and gathering some lore in the process. Doing what a friendly snowman should do. Opponent inks a hook and plays a Benja. Alright, we find other friends on the other side. Could sing Merlin into play off of Gruesome and Grim. Take out the goons. Although at this point I think I want to deploy... I think I want my board to get a little wider. So I'm gonna sing friends on the other side. Pick up a pair of Maleficents and a Madam Mim. I do want a tree drop in play for next turn if I can. I don't have that many inkables though. So I'm gonna have to ink Madam Mim. I think I'm hard casting my goat here. And Olaf is no longer the desirable quester that I loved earlier on. So I'm just gonna pass the turn. If Benja goes for Maleficent, we can use Olaf to clean it up. More goons to the ink pool. Opponent goats as well. Greatest of all time? No, the goat, the animal. The goat with a goatee. Alright, we find a Madam Mim snake. That is a nice option. Could use Merlin to take out Benja, then bounce it back. Yeah, let's take out Benja. Then we can even bounce both Merlins. Let's do that. Bounce the Merlins. Then we can Gruesome and Grim. Oh no, then would be short and inkable. I do want to ink something. Maybe I ink that Merlin. Alright, well, let's start by singing Friends on the other side. Let's draw ourselves into an inkable. Alright, we find a Flynn Rider. Let's ink that. And we have a Madam Mim Dragon. Maybe we can leverage that from our position. Let's go double Maleficent, put some pressure, and pass the turn back. As the score is now 5-7. See, the opponent's been getting some lore. Hopefully the Maleficents will help to catch up. Opponent grabs their swords and wipes out most of our board. I really should have been playing around that. Well, in that case, we're gonna goat and ink a goat. Bounce back a goat. Getting some lore in the process. I'm not sure if I'm sacrificing a bit too much board presence doing that. I am regretting not keeping at least one of the Maleficents up so I can Madam Mim Purple Dragon. Because that thing's rough for steel to deal with. Still don't know whether it's mono steel or if there's another ink. I suspect amber just because Amber Steel Songs is so popular. But I don't know. Oh wait, no, I've seen the goat. Come on, Yoshi. It's a steel amethyst. Alright, we find a big Madam Mim, which we're gonna resolve. Did I take out the goons? Then Eric has a counter. I think that's fine. Don't want to give my opponent too much board presence. I do want to be careful about that lore count. I mean, next turn I can Gruesome and Grim off of Madam Mim's ability, a goat into play, bounce them both back with the dragon. Assuming I have an inkable card, which I guess is not guaranteed. Opponent just goes for the quest, ignores our characters. Okay, there it is. The foxy version of Madam Mim comes in and takes out our snake version. Seems like an expensive trade. All that for a goat to come back. We do find an inkable. One that I don't really want to ink, but it's dragon time. So Madam Mim is going to bring out a Merlin goat. We gain a lore, and it's time for the purple dragon to do her thing. Bouncing back both characters into our hand. Get a lore off of Merlin. There we have it. Madam Mim Ultimate Dragon. Let me double check. Colors of the eyes. I think they're green. I was hoping they would be blue. That way she'd be a ultimate dragon with blue eyes. Once at 15 can quest for 4. Have to quest for 4 with Madam Mim, right? Can't allow Merlin to get sacrificed. I think we just play our Madam Mim, play our Flynn Rider. And see what our opponent has. Two cards. If the opponent has another goat or a bounce spell, we'll lose. Does the opponent have it? Elsa? That's not good. That's not good at all. Apparently, dragons are weak to ice. Who would have thought? Yeah, can we get out of this? Can we get 2 off of Madam Mim? Can hardcast a Gruesome and Grim, get a Merlin out, go to 16, sack Merlin to the beast, go to 17. But 17 is not 20. And our dragon is frozen solid and falls short of winning us this game. Almost got there. We got our Madam Mim dragon into play, but she just wasn't quite enough. We find a Madam Mim, Olaf, Maleficent, second Min, third Min, fourth Min, and an Arthur. Alright, so Maleficent and double Madam Mim snake seems nice. We'll keep one of the dragons. I don't think we need the Arthur here. Maybe you just want to ink that Olaf. Let's keep that. We're going second. Apparently Madam Mim Snake is going to be the highlight of this game. Simple card, yet very effective. Alright, we've also found Madam Mim Fox. Fortunately, I think we have to ink that purple dragon in order to resolve our little Maleficent biding her time here. She's biding her time by being super aggressive and going right off the gate, so she's really not biding her time at all. Should be Maleficent going all out, but not too strong. Well, I guess that doesn't have as much of an impact on the card. I think we'll have to ink Olaf. Now I can go to Quest and do the bounce dance. As the opponent has a Bucky, his opponent is presumably playing a discard style deck, which could be a problematic matchup considering we rely on having a bunch of cards in hand to keep on bouncing back and forth, left and right, and center. Never-ending bounce dance. Sudden Chill, definitely a discard deck on the play. Thankfully, it's not Prince John coming down on the battlefield. But for us, we draw an Isma, which is an easy ink. I think we want Tree Drop so that we can sing Gruesome and Grim next turn. So I'm going to hard cast our drawing Maleficent. Might as well Quest. I mean, the way to beat discard is by pressure. So let's let the pressure rage on. Like Elsa would sing. Is that what she sings? Is that what Backstreet Boys sings? Alright. Opponent's figuring out what to play. Oh, Big Flynn. So as long as we have cards in hand, Mr. Big Flynn isn't going to be too much of a problem. It's forcing us to discard a card. I think it's going to be Isma. Having access to one drop in hand is quite useful for us. Maybe I should highlight Bucky. Squeaky Squeak. Squirrel Squeak Tutor. Teaches how to squeak to other squirrels. And teaches how to discard the Floodborn characters, apparently. One inks and Hypnotize. And that big bad Flynn Rider is mostly useless now. Because he can quest for 0 He's evasive and he can challenge our Madam Mim snake into oblivion. A bounce. We don't really want to bounce that Flynn Rider though. So I think we want to sing Gruesome and Grim off of Maleficent. Bring out the Merlin. Merlin draws a card. Then we need to play a bounce type spell, which I guess could be bounce. Let's bring it back to our hand. Then we send away to Flynn. And that's a stack of double Flynns, right? Yeah, Flynn 4 on top of Flynn 2. And the opponent would make us discard another card off of the trigger. I don't really like that. So we're gonna go after a Snake Min. Bouncing back Merlin. Drawing a card, friends on the other side. Madam Mim Fox is my only other inkable beside that friends on the other side, which I kind of want to keep. But she's my last bounce spell. Outside of bounce. Well, I guess I can bounce both my snakes. Okay, so we're gonna ink Madam Mim. Gonna deploy our Maleficent and quest with a snake. And that has taken a bit too much time. We were running into seconds there. Sorry for the time, opponent. Somewhat complicated lines. With that rampant bunny just drawing some cards and bouncing shenanigans as usual. Let's see. Opponent plays, a Belle Hidden Archer. And she's Floodborn, so I get to discard my Arthur. Which I didn't really care for anyways. Belle Hidden Archer. Was a flop for us last time we tried. If you want to see me lose a ton of games, after this video, go and watch my Belle Hidden Archer video. It's a massacre. Find Madam Mim Dragon. Not ideal. Actually, maybe I just want to bounce the Belle. Yeah, but he's going to get another fun trigger off of it. And otherwise, request. Actually, we're going to sing Friends on the Other Side off of Maleficent. Ooh, Fairy Godmother and Isma. Can't say I care too much for Isma in this particular situation. Do I want a bunny or do I want to bounce? Maybe just bunny up. Get some cards. Make it harder on their opponent's Flynn. And keep on questing with the squad. Alright, we've exposed our one-drop Maleficent. That's okay. She's done a lot of work. We're already at 8 lore, which means we're in the later stages of the game where both teams typically try to spam quest. Except we're keeping that Flynn under control, which is key in this matchup. Another big Flynn, another discard. Let's send the goat away. Might be a bad move. Maybe I need to get rid of the dragon. But I just want to play that Maleficent dragon. The opponent can burst quest for quite a bit. Ooh, bounce. The opponent's playing the bounce spell. Sorry, my friend, but we don't have many overly great targets for that. Opponent double bounces their own character. It's an interesting choice. I guess the opponent wants to make us discard off of Bucky's triggers. At least do the combat with Maleficent before you bounce. Try to deal some damage to my characters. Now I think we can bounce for tempo. Since the opponent bounced most of their threats, we're going to bounce back the other Flynn. I've only seen the opponent play Emerald. Is there another Ink? Let's Ink or Maleficent and play our Bunny Rabbit again. Merlin, keeping on drawing some cards. Because why not? The opponent can try to make us discard, but as long as we keep on drawing a river of cards, it doesn't matter so much. And it's all thanks to this card, Merlin Rabbit. Friends on the other side, on the body. So you can bounce it and throw it around and make it hop to your liking. And we're threateningly told the opponent can't do anything about it, and so we win the game. That was an interesting game. I hope that you enjoyed the video with games and the deck list and the bouncing and the back and forth and the back and the forth and the characters drawing some cards and doing lots of awesome stuff again and again and again. The deck is a lot of fun, a lot of recursion, and playing around the different lines that you can take is a lot of fun and probably takes some getting accustomed to. So I'm sure I've made a ton of misplays, so feel free to write in the comments below as you see the misplays. If you had to watch the video again, well, that's up to you. The main point is that I hope that you've had a great time. Don't forget to give a like to the video if you've enjoyed the content. Try the deck on Pixelborn or at your local game store if you feel like it. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.